Hello, how you doing? Will Perry here, keeping the conversation alive. Daily videos and emails, or the videos now that replace the emails. So do subscribe if you haven't already. Links around here. So welcome. And what I'm talking about today, let me just turn that one off, is contentious, do you value your kids? It's contentious because if you have kids, you absolutely adore and love them. You do anything for them. You die for them. It's crazy the power of being a parent, and the power that kids have kind of over us, and how they might send us a bit crazy sometimes. But do you value your kids? You might instantly almost be annoyed at that they'll even ask. Instant response, instant. It's a really strong core belief of yours. Yeah, put it back to us as a parent, because obviously everything they learn, the values, the beliefs, it comes from us. So what's wrong with us? You might have things that you know about yourself that you definitely don't want the kids to have. You definitely don't want to influence them that way. You're going to give them a better life for the opportunities that you didn't have, the things you missed. But we often can't see what's wrong with us. We can't see what's kind of holding us back, what's limiting us, what's blinking us. Blinkers, you've got the blinkers on so you can't see that stuff. It's a bit like that. Or the farmyard analogy that I use so many times because I think it's such a cool one, and simple one, which is the farmer can't smell his farm, that smell, the shitty smell, yet the city boy that comes in, oh mate, this is bad, it stinks in here, city boy, and the farmer says, well, you can't smell nothing though, fresh air here. Farmer, see, city boy, oh, stinks. All right, you got it. So we can't see what's wrong, or if we know some stuff is wrong that we suffered from it, we don't know how to fix it. But one thing we often do as parents is that we overcompensate. So you didn't have any presents as a child growing up. Your parents maybe whatever the story was, whatever the circumstances were, you didn't have much of that. So you, Bob, make sure your kids have lots of presents. Overcompensating, or if there wasn't much love and affection around, you give lots of cousins, lots of love, lots of affection, lots of but try this on for size. This analogy, it's overcompensating, but there's a but, because the overcompensating it's not a positive thing in a way, because it's just the opposite end of the shitty stick that we had before. Now, if you have a shitty stick, so there was abuse present, maybe in your childhood, or trauma, or just lack of maybe a lack of love and appreciation, a lack of something was missing, so you overcompensate. So that's the missing stick. The something was missing stick, and you had the shitty end when you were growing up, and apologies for the expression, but it's a good one. So you had the shitty end in your hand. So you want to make sure that your kids, there we go, they don't get the shitty end of the stick. But the analogy, and why I think that's such a powerful analogy, is that guess what? You're still holding a shitty stick. They're holding a shitty stick. You're passing on a shitty stick. It's just you putting the shit further away. And again, apologies for the. In fact, YouTube will pick this up. Darn. So the intention of that is that it's a powerful analogy for you. So you cannot teach healthy self-esteem, which of course you want to do for your kids, healthy self-esteem, not to attract narcissists, not to attract abusers, not to be dominated over, being manipulated, controlled by friends and colleagues, and not to be a doormat, to be able to have self-control, self-power, self-confidence, self-belief. You want that with your kids, right? You cannot teach that if you haven't got it yourself. It's like, and I've said this before, it's like learning to drive off somebody who can't drive. It's like a no-brainer. Duh. I'll go to them. They know how to drive. I've seen them. So you can't teach your kids healthy self-esteem if you don't have it yourself. It's no good what you say. It's no good what you tell them. You can't teach them healthy self-esteem unless you have it yourself. Regardless of what you say, it's what you do and who you are. That's what we learn from. Not, today I'm going to teach you self-esteem from the good book. It's not. That's not when we learn healthy self-esteem or low self-esteem. Where did you get it from if you've got low self-esteem? So it wasn't sitting down and learning about self-esteem. So your kids will repeat your patterns regardless of what you tell them not to do, regardless of what you tell them to do. If you have low self-esteem, they will pick up and repeat that low self-esteem. They will attract those people that take advantage of people with low self-esteem, those controllers, those abusers, and the narcissists. And they will, if you have it. If you have kids that are slightly older, maybe you're experiencing some of that. Some of them may be dominating and nasty and challenging towards you, abusive towards you, even though you wouldn't like to admit it. Maybe some are people pleasers and doormats and do anything for everybody, which is so lovely, except they don't look after themselves. They don't put themselves first. They put everybody above them, which is no good. So if you have slightly older kids, don't go, oh God, don't use this as a whip to something, self-flagellation. What's that? Something to whip yourself with. Just know that you can change it. You can influence it anytime. But it comes from you. It's not, Will, get them to watch this video, get them to get Will stuff. No, it comes from you. They can learn it themselves as adults. But in terms of influence, you're the biggest influence. Your parents are the biggest influence. Maybe you're in a relationship with a narcissist, an alcoholic, somebody that's abusive. You still have the biggest impact, but you need to grow your self-esteem first to be able to then teach it to your kids. So the solution is to grow your self-esteem. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's relatively simple in many ways, but it's not easy. It takes a while. It takes practice. It takes work. It's learning how to be consistent in a new pattern of thought. It's really cool stuff. I get quite excited, but I get very excited. I've been working on this for 13 years, by the way. It's not easy. And there's so many layers to it. But what I'm being tenacious enough to do is to get those layers and then make a system out of it. And it's like, oh. And when I thought I had the system, it's like, oh, no, God, there's another layer. Oh, I don't want to go down there. I'm going down there. Pew. So I've stayed at this because I've chosen to make this my thing. And my thing, I have made it. So, it's not easy. But the question is, and I go back to the start, do you value your kids? If you value your kids, why would you not do this? And 80% of us in the Western world have this. And there's a whole history behind why that is the case. But 80% of us have low self-esteem. Why, if you value your kids, would you not value yourself first to then be able to pass on healthy self-esteem to your kids? So my invitation to you is to take the test. Oh, I've got a thingy for that. Always remind me to do that. So my invitation to you is to take the test. Take the test to just confirm what level of self-esteem it is. Is it 15 or lower? That's confirmed low self-esteem, in which case you cannot pass on healthy self-esteem to your kids if you don't have it yourself. Does that make sense? And if you know that you do have low self-esteem, maybe you can recognize the dramas, that you are in an environment of drama. There's always something going on. There's always some panic. There's always some worry. Or you're always a victim. You're always poor me. You're always like, oh, it's my fault. I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. You're teaching that to your kids. Don't. Why would you? Take action. Take action. Check out my webinar. Go into more detail. This is just 9 minutes and 18 seconds at the minute. Check out more detail. Go and look at the webinar. I'll put the links in the webinar wherever, around here somewhere. But if you go onto the test, redo the test, the links are in there as well. So don't just let that happen. If you value your kids, put you first. Start putting you first. Dive into how this works. Dive into how you can grow your self-esteem. That's my invitation to you. Many thanks. Loves you, boyo. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.